What is going on, guys, ladies and gents, I should say. Welcome to the first guide on everything you need to know about the Phoenix squad up until the point where you can unlock 7-star Palpatine and 7-star Thrawn. So basically, we're not going to be covering the Zetas. You don't need the Zetas for 7-star Thrawn, 7-star Palpatine. You're not going to have Sabine either because she's super slow to farm. So today we're just going to be covering Hera, Ezra, Chopper, Zeb, and Kanan. And spoilers alert, you're going to need higher gears to get 7-star Thrawn than this, but this is enough. Level 59 is already enough to get Palpatine to 7 stars. So today's video, we will break down basically the guide into two parts. First part is I'm going to go over the abilities and the general strategies, when to use what abilities, who to assist, and all that. So yeah, this guide is going to be mostly for beginners who are starting out with Phoenix, or for some intermediate players who probably want to perfect your Phoenix team, or if you're an endgame player, you might want a refresher or something, or maybe you can still learn a thing or two. Actually, probably just a thing. The second part is going to be modding. Yes, modding. Modding actually matters. I don't know if you guys care about mods or not, but they are huge. Many times I'm able to beat some very pretty much impossible battles with Phoenix just because, I swapped some mods around. So mods are definitely a huge part of this game. If you want to maximize your efficiency with the team, you're going to have mods. So let's get straight into it. First, we have Hera. Alright, so the captain of the team, obviously, you're going to want to Hera lead. You want to have her as the leader because... So what she does is, for each Phoenix ally, their unique ability are not just their own. Basically, anyone's unique ability is going to be shared amongst all the other Phoenix allies. So basically, right here, if you look at Ezra, his unique ability is going to be applied to all the other Phoenix allies, and same with all the other Phoenix characters. Basically, you're always going to want to have Hera lead, obviously. And people think that's all her leadership ability to do, but that's not all. In addition, whenever a Phoenix ally uses a special ability, and they're going to be using abilities quite frequently because Chopper actually resets the cooldown, they gain 20% turn meter if Hera is active. This effect is doubled for Phoenix allies with less than full health. And the last part is going to be an Omega. You don't have to have the Omega for 7-star Thrawn unlock. To unlock 7-star Thrawn, this is all you need. This is what I used on my main account. I had Ezra, Kanan, Chopper, Hera, and Zeb, of course. I had Hera at level 72, Zeb at level 72, and that's already enough. I don't even have the Omegas on Hera. I don't know if I have, let's see, Zeb. I don't have the Omegas on Zeb. But for 7-star Thrawn unlock, I'll make a separate video for that. Alright, let's go over Hera's basic. Basically, she exposes the healthiest target. Do you always want to try to land and expose? No, you don't. It really depends on the situation. If you are trying to focus down the most dangerous enemy, just use her basic on that enemy, even if he's not the healthiest. Alright, her second ability, the level 8 is actually the Zeta, so we're not going to be talking about that. But basically, she calls an ally to assist. The ally has 25% more potency and deals 35% more damage. So potency is obviously helpful, especially for Zeb, because Zeb can land dazes. And then if the target already has daze, Zeb is going to stun them. So when do you actually assist the Zeb versus plus 35% damage for Ezra? Well, it also depends on the situation. If you need the enemy to not take a turn, if he's really dangerous, for example, if you're going up against Darth Vader with Merciless Massacre, you want to stun Darth Vader because you don't want him to take a turn. If he takes a turn, you're all dead, right? So in that case, you want to assist the Zeb. But yeah, so use your judgment there. Third ability, backup plan, basically revives an ally. The ally gains the backup plan buff for 3 turns, recover 10% health per turn. So what people don't realize is, it's not just a revive, it actually recovers health. So sometimes I'll actually just apply the backup plan just to recover some health. Revive with, and when the ally revive, they revive with 80% health and 30% turn meter, which is pretty cool. And sometimes you can even preemptively put backup plan onto Kanan if you know Kanan is going to taunt and soak up all the damage. So you could actually put the backup plan on Kanan preemptively so that your cooldown starts to reset. Because this skill does have a pretty long cooldown. It's on a 5-turn cooldown, as you can see here. So if you preemptively put out backup plan on Kanan or something, you can let the cooldown start to reset faster. Alright, Ezra. Ezra is going to be your main damage dealer of the team. Level 7 skill is already pretty nice. Level 8 the Omega is also pretty great. I highly recommend it. I think I had it for when I unlocked Throng, because this is going to give you, because the Omega is going to give you 20% more multi-attack chance when he's not debuffed. So basically he attacks with a 40% chance to attack again. If he has no debuffs, the chance of double attacking is 80%. Pretty self-explanatory. This also means that you want Kanan to dispel Ezra whenever Ezra has any debuffs, because you want Ezra to hit twice, because Ezra is going to be your main damage dealer of the team. Second ability, Flourish. Level 8 is Zeta. We're not going to talk about it. Deal physical damage to target enemy and dispel all buffs on them. So this is what people know. People know his second ability dispels, and that's the only time they use it. But I'm going to tell you why you should also use it when the enemy does not have any buffs. The reason being, it says here, if the enemy had no buffs, this attack's cooldown is reduced by 1, and Ezra gains 50% turn meter. And as we just read earlier, Hera gives 20% turn meter to any Phoenix ally that uses a special ability. So basically, Ezra, if he attacks an enemy without any buffs, he's going to gain 50% turn meter plus 20% from Hera, so which means he's pretty much going to take another turn right away. And this is very crucial when it comes to resetting his other skill, which is Watch and Learn. But people watch my stream and they ask, why are you attacking? Why are you using the second ability? And, they all try to pretend to be an expert. But really, when I tell them what's actually going on, they're like, oh, cool. But yeah, so many people who have used Phoenix for a long time, they don't even know this. All right, let's move on to Watch and Learn, his third ability. Target ally attacks and then Ezra assists, dealing 20% more damage. Both attackers gain a bonus effect based on the chosen ally's role. So we're going to ignore attacker because the only other attacker is Sabine in a faction, so we're not going to have Sabine. We're not going to be talking about Sabine, so we're not going to talk about the attacker. So tank protection up 40% for 2 turns. This obviously Kanan and Zeb are the tanks. So who do you assist? Well, it really depends. For example, Kanan, he applies offense down on his basic, which actually helps if the target is really, really threatening. You can assist Kanan, plus Kanan taunts. So the 40% protection up is really nice for Kanan. And he's going to live longer. Whereas for Zeb, he applies a daze, and if the target already has daze, he's going to stun. So it really depends on the situation. If the target is really threatening and if he already has a daze, you just assist Zeb to try to land a stun. Support gains 40% turn meter. That's going to be Chopper and Hera. Which one do you assist? Normally I assist Chopper. Sometimes I assist Hera. It really depends on the situation. If Hera is really damaged, I want to assist Hera so she can gain some turn meter, and so that when she takes a turn, she's going to heal. But if Hera is about to go, then I'll assist Chopper, because Chopper's basic applies a random buff to a random Phoenix ally, and it has, I think, 50% chance to reduce that ally's cooldown also, which is huge. I think people overlook that way too often. And let's take a look at his unique. Ezra gains 10% offense at the end of his turn. This effect can be stacked up to 40%. The bonus is reset when Ezra is dead. So basically, you don't want Ezra to die, because when Ezra dies, first, you're not going to have any damage left. Second, everyone loses the buff, the 40% offense buff. So without Ezra, you're just not going to beat the other team, unless if they're already pretty much dead. Alright, let's take a look at Chopper, my second favorite droid in the entire Star Wars universe. His basic attack is really cool. Chopper is the only one that doesn't have a Zeta, but you don't have to have the Omegas on Chopper. I don't know if I did. I think I had this Omega right here on his unique, which is really cool. But for his basic, you don't have to have the Omega. You can if you want to, it helps for sure. But just for the sake of this video, we're going to include it. Deal physical damage to target enemy and grant a random Phoenix ally or droid ally, which doesn't matter, offense up, defense up, or speed up at random for 2 turns, with a 60% chance to also reduce that ally's cooldown by 1, which is huge actually. So if you can keep on landing some buffs on Kanan and reducing his cooldown, Kanan can basically permanently taunt. And also, if you land an offense up on Ezra, Ezra is going to hit like a truck. And if you reduce Ezra's cooldown, it's going to be even better. Speed up is really nice too, for obvious reasons. Speed is just great overall. Speed is the best stat in the game. But yeah, this is also why sometimes I'll assist Chopper if I don't know who to assist, just because the cooldown is nice, the buffs are nice. His second ability is a taunt. Chopper gains taunt for 1 turn. While he has taunt, Chopper gains 30% evasion. I think evasion is super underrated. And sometimes, you know, he can dodge a super big hit, which, you know, helps the entire team out for sure. Especially when Hera is dying, you want to be taunting with Chopper and Kanan, because Hera is the only one that can't be revived, because she can only apply backup plan to other allies. So she's the squishiest on the team, so you want to protect Hera. His third ability, Metal Menace, dispel all buffs on target enemy, which is pretty cool, because this is going to ignore foresight. If the target has a foresight, Ezra will not dispel because his attack is going to miss. But for Chopper, he just dispels everything on the target, which is pretty cool. And he gains 25% protection. All enemies lose 10% turn meter, by the way, for each buff dispelled. So you could also use this as a way to manipulate the turn meter on the enemy team. And if the target is a droid, they are going to be stunned for 1 turn, which is cool. I think a lot of the times people forget about this, and it can come in handy. His passive, at the start of his turn, Chopper recovers 15% of his max health. In addition, whenever he is damaged by an attack, he gains protection up 15% if he doesn't already have protection up. Additionally, Chopper has a 30% chance to assist when another Phoenix or droid ally uses an ability during their turn. This assist is not shared with Phoenix allies. And this is the Omega. The assist is the Omega, which I highly recommend. Because whenever a Phoenix ally uses a special ability, Chopper can assist. It's basically a free attack from Chopper, which means a free buff. Offense up or defense up or speed up, which is pretty cool. Possibly reduce cooldown too. I would even go as far as to say Chopper is the engine of the team, because he provides so much survivability and utility that I don't think I can ever take Chopper out of this team. Especially since in this guide we're not talking about Sabine. Chopper is just great overall. Alright, now we have Zeb the Lasat. He is a tank and he can hit pretty decently hard as well. So his basic, deal physical damage to target enemy and daze them for 2 turns. If the target enemy was already dazed, staggered, or exposed, they're stunned for 1 turn instead. This attack deals 30% more damage to debuffed enemies. Okay, so basically when Zeb hits, he lands a daze. And when he hits again, he's going to stun that target, assuming that the target still had the dazed debuff. But what people overlook is even when the target is staggered or exposed, he is still going to stun. Basically, when Hera lands and exposed, you can then use Zeb to hit the target again to try to get a stun that way. Or you can use Zeb's second ability, which staggers the enemy. So the target is going to have stagger, and then you use either Ezra to call assist Zeb or Hera call assist Zeb to basically take away that target enemy's turn meter completely and get a stun at the same time. His second ability, level 8, is a Zeta. We're not going to talk about that. Deal physical damage and stagger them for 1 turn. If the target has no debuffs, the attack deals 25% more damage and can't be resisted. So keep that in mind. If the target has no debuffs, it can't be resisted. I think a lot of the times people don't know whether if they can risk using the second ability, but if the target has no debuffs, this is guaranteed to land for sure. His third ability, Zeb and target ally gain 50% protection up for 2 turns. Both gain tenacity up for 2 turns if they have no debuffs, and retribution for 2 turns if they do. So this is really, really useful, especially if Ezra has a debuff. You just use this ability on Ezra, and now he has retribution. And now every time when someone attacks Ezra, Ezra is going to attack back. And this is also, of course, great for protecting Hera, since Hera is the squishiest on the team. Tenacity up, of course, is great too, but normally I don't really use this ability for that purpose. But of course, if you think that a situation is going to require some tenacity up, feel free to use it. And now on to Kanan Jarrus, Jedi Knight. What we have here is your tankiest tank on the team. Basically, he's going to be soaking up most of the damage because he does taunt. Chopper taunts too, but Chopper's taunt disappears pretty quickly. Okay, so his basic ability, deal physical damage to target enemy and inflict offense down until the start of Kanan's next turn, or until he's defeated. If this attack scores a critical hit, this effect can't be resisted. This ability gains 15% crit chance for each ally under full health. So you might be thinking, hey, maybe we should put some crit chance on this guy, right? Not really. You want this guy to be as tanky as he can be, because this is your main tank on the team. And the offense down on his basic is really nice too. If you're going up against the Darth Vader and you think he's about to do the Colin Blade, you can hit him with Kanan's basic and then reduce Vader's Colin Blade damage by quite a lot. And his second ability, deal physical damage to target enemy and taunt for 2 turns, then dispel all debuffs on another target ally. While Kanan has this taunt buff, his tenacity is doubled. We'll talk about the tenacity when we get into the modding section. For now, just know that the spell is really useful, and typically you want to use it on Ezra because Ezra has a chance to double attack, has a higher chance to double attack when he has no debuffs. But of course, if you need to save Hera or if you need to save anyone else, clear the buffs on them when you need to. His third ability, total defense, at level 8, that's a Zeta. We're not going to talk about that. Kanan dispels all debuffs from himself, then grants himself and another target ally protection up 40% for 2 turns. So this is really good if Kanan has a lot of debuffs. Use this ability when that's the case. This is just great overall because this can also be used to protect anyone that's in danger. And last but not least, Kanan has 70% counter chance and recovers 25% health whenever he suffers a debuff. This is one of the better unique abilities the Phoenix squad has. Basically, your entire squad is going to have 70% counter chance and recovers 25% health whenever they suffer a debuff, which is really cool. And that's it for the skills and when to use each skill. Now let's go into modding. Alright, let's take a look at the mods on my main account because they actually have mods. So for Ezra, you want offense and crit chance. I see people with crit chance, crit damage, but in my opinion, crit chance and offense is just better. Mainly because when you're below 75%-ish crit chance, offense is just generally better. So as long as you have these two sets, you're fine. For arrow, you want speed, of course. I think speed is ideal for everyone. But if you have limited amount of speed arrows, I would say Ezra is the better ones to put it on, because Ezra is your main damage dealer and you want him to take as many turns as he can. For the triangle, you want crit damage primary. Of course, with all these mods, you want as much secondary speed as you can get. And I'm not going to talk about the other secondary stats because most likely you don't have endgame mods on the Phoenix squad. If you can't get secondary speed, that's great. If you cannot, that is fine. As you can see, I don't have too many secondary speeds. For the cross, I had health. Health is better than protection for Phoenix, because Phoenix passively generates protection anyways. So health and defense are definitely better than protection for the primary stat here. And secondary, I have 3 speed here. And for circle, I went for health over protection, like I said. And this one does not have any secondary speed. But do keep in mind though, this one has 4% crit chance, which is really, really good. So be looking out for crit chance for Ezra on secondary stats. Diamond here always comes with defense. So you just want to be looking for crit chance, secondary, and speed if you can get some speed. And for the square, we have offense primary, always comes with offense. Secondary, you want speed and crit chance if you can. I've got 9 speed here, which is cool. And let's take a look at Kanan. For Kanan, you want him to be as tough as you can get. So I put 2 defense set and 1 health set. If you go with all health, that is fine. But I really enjoy having 2 defense sets. Of course, it's going to do worse against special damage like Emperor Palpatine and Thrawn actually. But generally speaking, 2 defense set and 1 health set is pretty decent. And here I have a speed arrow. Typically, if you get a speed arrow, secondary stats don't really matter too much unless if you have a lot of gray mods. But mostly I'm just looking for the speed arrow here. For triangle, I went with protection, which is not the greatest because you want health or defense. So this is actually not a good mod, but this is all that I had. The triangles are kind of rare. For the cross here, I went with defense. Defense is pretty good. Health is okay too. Some people go for tenacity. Okay, so this is where tenacity is an argument that you can make. Basically, when he's taunting, his tenacity is doubled. So you might think, okay, so I want some tenacity, right? But you actually don't, because whenever he gets a debuff, he recovers 25% health. So you actually don't want tenacity on this guy. So I went with defense and some secondary speed. For the circle, I went with health over protection, 100% for Phoenix. And I don't have any secondary speed here. For diamond, defense primary, I have 5 secondary speed. For the square, I have offense and 9 speed secondary. And also keep in mind, potency is nice too. So if you can get some secondary potency, it's also pretty good, because he does land it offense down on his basic. Alright, let's take a look at Chopper. Chopper is one of those characters that I would like to have as much speed as I can get. So arrow, I have speed arrow. Triangle, I have 6 secondary speed. Health is great. Health and defense are both good stats here. You want Chopper to have as much defense as he can get. Offense, he doesn't really do too much damage, so you don't have to mod for offense. Cross, I went with health. Health is good. Secondary, no speed, and that's okay. Circle, I went with health over protection, as you should too. I have 5 secondary speed, which is nice. Diamond, I have some defense, 5 secondary speed. And finally, offense square and no secondary speed. But the reason why I say you want Chopper to be as fast as you can get is because his basic really helps the entire team. So you want him to dish out as many attacks as he can get. Not for the damage, but for the utility. And let's take a look at Hera. So Hera being the squishiest on the team, I like to have all toughness on Hera. But I do see some people have speed and some defense. That's okay too. It really depends on how well your Hera is surviving. But since she can't put backup plan on herself, I like to have as much defense on Hera as I can. So here I have a speed arrow. Speed is not bad by any means because the faster she can go, the faster she's gonna get backup plan ready. So speed is definitely nice. Try and go, I went with crit damage apparently because she does do a decent amount of damage. But ideally, if I were to go all defense, I would have health or defense here. And then ideally, you want some secondary speed here as well. Crosses, health is good, defense is good, secondary speed is good. But I don't have any secondary speed, and that's okay. Circle, health over protection 100%. Here I have 16 secondary speed, which is actually pretty decent. Diamond, defense 4 secondary speed, and square with 7 speed. Let's take a look at Zeb. Alright, Zeb is the guy that people have different opinions on. Zeb just has, in my opinion, Zeb has so much utility that you want him to go as many times as you can get, kind of like Chopper. Except Chopper is going to be taunting occasionally, so you want Chopper to be tough. But on Zeb, I like to have a speed set and also a potency set because that's how he's going to land the dazes and the stuns. Okay, so arrow, I have speed arrow because I want him to be fast. Triangle here, I went with health for secondary speed. Cross, you want potency here, 100%, because potency makes sure that he lands the debuffs. Secondary speed is also nice too. Health over protection, 100%. Secondary speed here will be nice. Diamond, this is probably the worst mod I could find, but this is all that I had at the moment. So ideally, you want some secondary speed, and also if you can find some secondary potency for Zeb, that would be great. And here for the square, I have 5 speed, no potency. Okay, so as you guys can see, the mods aren't the greatest, but this is all you need to unlock 7-star Thrawn, which the guide for that is coming, so stay tuned. That's it for the everything you need to know for your Phoenix squad. Hope you guys learned a thing or two. And if you enjoyed this video, or if you want to stay tuned for the Palpatine guide and the Thrawn guide coming, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Like the video, comment if you have any more questions, or if you want to share any more tips. Ring the notification bell if you want to. And tell me what is your favorite brand of water for absolutely no reason. But that's it. Until next time, peace.